He shouldn't be legally allowed to do that should be the title of his next book, because for every single time I've heard somebody on here or other platforms say that he can't legally do that, he's still done it anyway. He shouldn't have been allowed to take a plane from Qatar and put it into his presidential library, which cost $400 million and then another $1 billion of taxpayer money to retrofit it to become Air Force One. But here we are. He shouldn't be allowed to take a oil tanker from Venezuela and sell it and put the gains of that into an unmarked bank account in the Middle East. But yet here we are. He shouldn't have been allowed to enrich his family through the presidency and be able to create a meme coin that he is directly profiting off of as he sits in the Oval Office. But yet here we are. We have got a list of things that he shouldn't be allowed to do, but yet he's still done it anyway. So the idea that he can't possibly touch the midterms or a state election because that's run on a state level, not a federal level, doesn't change the fact that he has called for Republicans to nationalize the election service, which would mean in turn that the federal government would take control of each state's election process to ensure the integrity of the election. So again, it still doesn't change the fact that he shouldn't be allowed to do it. He's legally not allowed to do it, but it doesn't change the fact that Congress isn't holding him accountable for anything because they keep allowing it to happen and no one's got a check or balance to actually control him. So when you tell me that he can't take control of the midterms and that the midterms are safe, they've said that about a lot of the things in the Constitution, but yet here we are, he's still doing it anyway. How can you justify your thought process to believe that he's going to allow the midterms to happen when he's come out and said directly that if the midterms happen, they will impeach him immediately and he will face criminal charges? Because again, once he's no longer the commander-in-chief, he then will lose his immunity and he can be subject to any criminal charges, like the January 6th or the illegal paperwork in Mar-a-Lago. All of these things can still come forward because he still hasn't been tried or even brought charges onto it. So Jack Smith could step up and bring charges. So again, do you think that he's actually going to allow that to happen? Or do you think that he's going to do what he's done for the last year, which is despite legal ramifications or the Constitution or even what his own constituents wants, he has done what he wants for the benefit of himself and his family? How can you deny that?